welcome to our Zoom meeting kickoff event. We've been trying to do these meetings jointly with the Society of Physics students, Zone 7, with the Eastern Great Lakes section of the American Physical Society. This particular meeting is also joint with the Michigan section of the AAPT. So I just wanted to thank our local chapter for helping out and get some things going here. So unfortunately, Samantha, she's at a SAE Aero competition in California, or yeah, where she said it was. She's in California. Yeah, California. So so she couldn't be here. Otherwise, she'd be here. But other folks are in class. But they did help out. Also wanted to thank Eagles and for working with us to have the meeting. And then finally, how many people here are already members of American Physical Society? Okay, great, super. If you're not a member, then you can join for the first year for free if you're a student. So I encourage you to do that. If you are a member of the Society of Physics students as well, then you get to choose two professional societies and pick one of them to be APS, or you can do the APS for free separately, and you get 3 memberships. So, but the reason I say that is because our section here, the Eagles section, gets a little bit of money for every member that we have who chooses us as a member. And so it's helpful if you are a member of APS, please make sure that you have a section member as well. Or if you're not, if you join, then please do also select us. That way we can get some funds to run these kind of meetings. So we've already started a little bit of introductions here, but we want to make sure that you know who we are, but we don't know who you are. So why don't we go around and just say a little about say your name and what your interest is in physics, and maybe one interesting fact about you if you like. Okay.
We want to start over here?
Go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Vaughn. I'm from Merida College in Ohio. I'm a junior math and physics major. Interesting fact. I was on America's Funniest Home Videos when I was a kid.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I'm a junior.
I like they do and those are pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm a junior applied physics major, and we'll be going to Wright State for my graduate. And the fun fact about me is I'm here today, and then tomorrow I have to go to the track meet.
Oh, they call it. I'm a senior at Marietta, and the interesting fact about me, I intern at the Air Force right now.
I'm Patrick Fox, I'm a freshman. I'm in applied physics and mechanical engineering major. And fun fact about me is I play tennis.
My name's Maddie. I'm a junior at Marietta College. I'm a physics major, and the interesting fact about me is I'm explaining.
I am Tristan McShane. I'm a junior physics major at Ohio Northern University. And an interesting fact for me would be that I've been to all 50 states except we missed one. We're trying to go and somehow missed an entire state.
Which state?
Arkansas.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a sophomore from Marietta College. I'm an applied physics major, and my interesting fact is I'm a triplet.
Wow, okay. She has to beat.
Hi everyone, my name is Quinn Peterson. I'm a recent Kettering graduate in applied physics and mechanical engineering. I currently work at Fermilab as a kind of robotics tech specialist, and I work in materials research for radiation damage and accelerator components. And fun fact about me is I think while I was an undergraduate here, while tipsy, I talked about the dual slit experiments close to 53 times.
I'm Tyler.
Yes.
I'm a junior at Miami University. And a fun fact about me, on my drive up here, my car broke down.
Oh.
That's really something.
Yeah, we got engineers around here.
That's the video.
My name is Agrev. I'm a junior majoring in astrophysics and data science at Michigan State. Fun fact, I can very change
My name is Hiro Gilberto. I'm studying physics and then banyak courage and I'm interested in astronomy and astrophysics.
My name is Lucas Young. I'm a senior at Marietta College. And I don't have an interest in fact.
That's interesting. And we should folks online. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
See if you want, if you're online, you want to maybe Ben, you want to start and introduce yourself.
So I'm Ben. I'm a junior at Case Western Reserve University. I'm an engineering physics major. And my fun fact is that I'm a swimmer. So.
All right, very good. And let's see. Go ahead.
I'm Simon. I'm a junior at Case Western, just a physics major. And my fun fact is that I also play tennis, but I'm really bad at it.
Great.
Hi, my name is Ananda. I'm a junior at Case Western also. I'm a math, physics, and astronomy major, and my fun fact is that I used to have a pet snake.
Oh, excellent. Very good. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming into the meeting today. Okay. So do you want to go ahead and continue?
Yeah, so now we can get a little bit more into what is SPS? What is Society of Physics Students? So there's really two national organizations we can talk about. The first, of course, is the Society of Physics Students, or SPS. This is a national organization that's broken up by zones and chapters. So of course, for Marietta State, we have a chapter, Marietta College has a chapter, and so on. And it's open to anyone who has any kind of interest in physics and astronomy. In recent years, we've made a huge push to include and astronomy, not just physics and astronomy. These chapters are chartered at 2- and 4-year colleges, and we have about 860 chapters to date. So it's a very nice professional society for undergrads, graduates, even faculty members. And a separate society from that is Sigma Pi Sigma, which is the Physics Honors Society connected to SPS. It's restricted to colleges and universities with a strong physics and astronomy program. Induction into Sigma Pi Sigma, they get a lifetime membership with many opportunities to connect with alumni, professionals, and other such people in physics and astronomy. So I'll just show you here the mission statement for SPS is that SPS exists to help students transform themselves into contributing members of the professional community. It's this coursework that develops only one range of skills, but other skills needed to flourish professionally include employing effective communication and personal interaction, as we're doing in this conference today, demonstrating leadership, which you can do within your chapter, you can do at the national level, establishing a personal network of contacts, which we can do in this room here and throughout the weekend, presenting scholarly work and professional meetings and journals, and reaching out to campuses and local communities. So you see just how big this is, how SPS contributes to university campuses, within departments, even outside in your local community and nationwide. Now, as I said, we break up SPS National into multiple zones. We are here in Zone 7, which makes up the lower peninsula of Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, and a sliver of Western Pennsylvania. But in all, we have 18 zones, with some of them actually spanning over into international chapters with Egypt, China, India, the Philippines, and Singapore, interestingly enough. In terms of how the national governance works, at the top, we have the SPS National Council, which is the main governing body for SPS and Sigma Pi Sigma. For example, Dr. Kuman and I, as zone counselor and associate zone counselor, we are members of this national council, which represent the zone. We have annual meetings in person to pass legislation for SPS, to serve on communities for student issues, such as our burnout committee, the SPS task force, which reaches out to inactive chapters, and so on. And as you can see here, we have our recent SPS, the 2023-24 National Council. We met in Washington, D.C. back in September. Very fun experience. And as I said, each of the zones are represented by a zone counselor who is it's a 3-year term for professionals like faculty and staff at universities. And the associate zone counselor is a student position elected annually with a 2-term limit. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. It's also interesting, one of those associate zone counselors sits on the executive committee, which has like the AIP CEO, American Institute of Physics CEO, the director of SPS, the presidents of SPS and Sigma Pi Sigma, and a few other members. And it's fun because any student can run for this position. In terms of the executive committee, right now, Michael Maloney, he's the AIP CEO. Kirill Streletsky over at Cleveland State University is the SPS president. Blaine Baker is the Sigma Pi Sigma president, and those are both elected positions. Hannah Giancondo is the AIP member at large. Rachel Neer is the current associate zone counselor on the executive committee. Earl Blodgett, he's the SPS historian and interim SPS director. And Alejandro de la Puente is the incoming SPS director. We just had a big nationwide search for an SPS director, and we're very happy to welcome Dr. de la Puente into the position. And then in the national office, if you ever email the national office, you're likely to interact with one of these people. Of course, Dr. de la Puente is the incoming director. Kayla Stevens is the assistant director of SPS. Michaela, she is the SPS programs coordinator. Lydia is the membership coordinator. Absolutely awesome if you ever talk to her about membership questions. And Sasha is the SPS administrator. All amazing people in the national office. Sometimes you might get the chance to interact with them through email. One big thing that we've been pushing for this past year is the inclusion of the Zone 7 Council. So this is kind of our own thing that here in Zone 7 we started to organize. The Associate Zone Counselor is the chair of the council, and then members volunteer to join the Zone Council and assist with organizing zone meetings and other activities across the zone. So right now we have Charlotte Bimson from Case Western, Peter Burberry from Marshall, I am the chair, and Tally Lansing from College of Worcester. So if you're ever interested in joining the Zone Council, come talk to me or Dr. Kuman, and we'll see if we can get you in those email chains and you can help out with organization in the zone.
Because you're going to have somebody from Pennsylvania.
We need someone from Pennsylvania, absolutely. Do you want to switch now? And
Or sure, yeah, sure. So you may ask, what does Society of Physics students do for you? In particular, our zone. Well, we do several things. First of all, we represent you at the National Council. So the National Council meets once a year in person and has several sort of webinars over the course of the year. Next one being tomorrow, last one being tomorrow for the year. And we also try to communicate out information about our SPS programs and activities. Some of the stuff that's here on the table, but also we send it out through our newsletters. Anybody ever see our newsletters? If you're an officer? No, pretty much. Okay. Talk to your officers. They should be getting newsletters. If they're not, let me know. In addition, we try to promote things here at these Zoom meetings. We help to, we don't necessarily run the Zoom meeting. I mean, we're doing this time right now at Kettering because I'm also here. But in general, like for example, Cleveland State, they had a separate organization coordinate the meeting, and we helped out. And then we're trying to encourage more interaction between chapters. So if you want to do an event, maybe with a neighboring chapter or maybe a chapter with a common interest somewhere else in the zone, we'd like to do that. For example, we talked about maybe trying to do a field trip someplace, maybe like Green Bank Observatory or elsewhere. So I know other zones do that kind of thing. There's actually a thing going on this weekend in the zone that's in Illinois, where they're getting together and they're going to figure it out in smaller places. So yeah, these are some recent things we've done. We had a standalone zone meeting at Wayne State last spring. we had a meeting, a very successful meeting in the fall at Cleveland State, as you can see from the picture there. And then we were just on Monday back in Cleveland for the eclipse. Was anybody in Cleveland for the eclipse besides people from Cleveland? No? Okay. Anybody else see the eclipse elsewhere? All right, great. Super. Awesome.
Good.
All right, excellent. Yeah, we had a good time. There's Jacob. Had the telescope.
That's definitely not me in the house.
Yeah, so I think I covered most of these things here. We do also meet with the zone council to plan zone activities. It's not a high commitment position. I think we've met 3 times this year even.
Yeah.
So just to kind of touch base and get some ideas, bounce some ideas off folks. So those are the kinds of things that we do at the zone level. Oh, I didn't mention the chapter reports. So we'll talk more about chapter reports later, but we are the ones who actually review the chapter reports along with some other folks from a different part of the country. And we review and assess them. So I want to talk a little about the information availability through the SPS handbook. Has anybody ever seen the SPS handbook? 1 or 2 people. Okay. Where are they? There's some here in the back. I didn't have enough there. Here. We'll take some pass these around. No, I have them here. Here they go. So we have a few. If you want to take one with you, feel free to take one. We only have a few. We don't have enough for everybody. But if you haven't seen that and you'd like to take a look at it, it's got a lot of great information there about all the programs. It comes out at the beginning of the year, usually in October, September, October. And if you want one and we don't have enough, please tell me and we'll get you one. It's also available online as well. Check out the QR code there.
If we can use this, one more chapter, that might be nice.
So yeah, check this out. A lot of great information here about deadlines and suggestions for how to run your chapter meetings and all kinds of things. If you ever want to know about when your chapter was first chartered, there's a big chart at the back of the book. You can look that up. Okay.
It's like an all-stop shop for us.
That's right. Kind of like your Farmer's Almanac for Society of Physics students. In addition, another source of good information for more timely stuff is the SPS News. Does anybody get SPS News? Yeah, okay. If you're a member of SPS, you should be getting SPS News. If you're a member and you're not getting it, let me know. But it covers all kinds of things about when due dates are coming out for scholarships or other kinds of travel opportunities, travel grants, other kinds of society news, all that kind of stuff comes out through the SPS News. It comes out basically twice a month during the regular academic year. In addition, our zone in particular has several things here. Let me move this over so that we can see this. So there is the SPS 7 website, which is, has anybody ever been to our website? Maybe 1 or 2 people. Okay, it's great. It's got lots of great information there. It's got a list of all the chapters in the zone and even some history about some of the people who previously served as zone counselors and assistant zone counselors, chapter award winners, that kind of thing. We also have a small but growing YouTube channel. So whenever we do recording, like when we're doing here today, we post that up there. We've also had some special seminars. We've had one on, we had a panel discussion at a meeting a few years ago about physicists, undergraduate physicists who've gone straight to industry and their experiences. That was pretty interesting. We had one on how to write an award-winning chapter report back at Wayne State last spring. So that's all posted up on the YouTube channel. In addition, for more contemporary kind of things, we also have a Zone 7 Discord server, which we're trying to kind of build out. Many people use Discord. Okay, great, super. So please go ahead and join our Discord server. We'd love to have you there. We'd like to get people out, information out about that.
It's a great way for us to get information for those who may not always see the newsletters. And it's a very quick way to get in contact with myself and Dr. Guhan if you have any questions and to connect with other peers across different chapters. I highly recommend you join the Discord server because then you can also pass that along to your chapters and get them in on the news. So.
Great, super.
If that QR code by chance doesn't work, come to me, I can send you an invite. It should work though.
I think it should work. I think I checked. Any questions so far? All right, so next we want to talk about some year-end activities, things that you should be thinking about as we go into the end of the academic year here. First and foremost, we really love to have people renew their memberships. It's an important way that we keep the society funded and also keep in touch with you all. So we'd recommend that. And we're going to go through the rest of these here one by one. So in particular, if you're not a member of SPS, then you might say, well, why should I join SPS? Well, several things. First of all, you get a magazine. So the SPS Observer magazine. In fact, I have a few copies here if you want to take one. It comes out 3 times a year, so take one, pass it around. Plus the JERPA. I've got a few copies of that as well. That's the Journal of Undergraduate Research in Physics and Astronomy. Okay, so this is actually a journal you can submit to, and it's a DOI. It's actually an actual peer-reviewed publication. So pass it around. You get a copy of that. Physics Today every month, just like all the physics professionals do, all the major societies. You become eligible to apply for all kinds of scholarships and grants, awards. So if maybe you want to go to a conference and you need a little extra money, you can apply for an award. If you want to get a scholarship, they have thousands of dollars worth of scholarship that some of them sometimes they don't even get claimed. Okay, so you want to go ahead and apply for them. We want to have money sitting on the table. You get 2 free memberships in an AFP member society. Okay, if I have to pay for those, it's a couple $100 a piece. Okay, so take advantage of that when you can. SPS uses, already talked about that. There's a bunch of other things here. Travel support for regional meetings, career and graduate school resources. We'll talk a little bit more about those later. You can get some free membership in other societies like the National Society of Black Physicists or Hispanic Physicists, and even other things about outreach materials that are also available on the website. Only $24 a year, so it's a great deal. I did want to mention a few other options though. If you're an individual, that's $24 a year. If you can sign up with a group of friends, it's cheaper. It's only depending on the number of people you have signed up, it's between 5 and 25% discount, and you still get to print a magazine. If you have a lot of people, maybe your whole department and all their friends want to sign up, study physics students, you can do a chapter membership, and that's a great opportunity. You get 200 memberships for a $350 flat rate. Oftentimes departments will even pay for it if you ask nicely. So so in that case, you get electronic subscription to the magazine, but you're still a member and you can apply for all the grants and scholarships. So lots of great opportunities.
I suggest you talk to, if you want to sign up your whole department for SPS, I highly suggest you talk to your department chair or someone high in the faculty. That's what I did at Wayne State. I talked to my department chair, and the department covered that $350 for 200 students. So I highly recommend you talk to your department if you want to get some of that money.
Sure. Okay, another thing that's coming up here, we've been trying to run a logo contest. So we don't have a logo for our zone and we want to have one. So here's some examples of some other zones, the 2 that I know of. So here's the zone 1, which is up in the northeast. They have a spherical lobster. Okay, go along with spherical cows. Okay, which is kind of like the mascot for physics students. In New York, they have a spherical cow going over Niagara Falls. Okay, makes sense. So we like to have one for our zone as well. So if you're creative or just have some ideas, please submit. We have a submission link I didn't put on here, but it's on the website. And we're looking to get some ideas there. Also coming up the end of the year here is the SPS National Council elections. So every year we have to re-elect the officers, which Jacob already described, or elect. And this time around, so basically the way it works is every chapter gets 1 vote, right? So your advisors should have gotten an email already, which has the code that they need to actually put the vote in. And so you'll just need to decide amongst your chapter members who you want to vote for, and then they can submit the vote. Right, for our ballot, for our zone, basically there's only 2 things in the ballot. There's the Sigma Pi Sigma president. Blaine Baker is running again. He's unopposed. So that's one thing. And then we do have a competitive race for the associate zone counselor. And so Jacob is running again. And then also Telly, who is not here right now. She couldn't make it the meeting. She's this meeting because she's in transit, but she'll be here, I believe, later today. So if you want to talk to her, she'll be around. She's been on the zone council as yourself. Okay. And they have statements up on the website you can go take a look at. Find out more about them. Also want to talk just a little bit about Physics Honor Society. It's kind of this time of year typically when a lot of inductions start to take place. How many people have Sigma Pi Sigma chapters at your school? right? So if you don't know what it is, Sigma Pi Sigma is the Physics Honor Society component. And it has basically 4 purposes: to honor scholarship, encourage interest in physics, promote service, and provide fellowship. Okay. And that's what it's charged with. How do you join? Typically, you're invited to join. It's typically based for undergraduates, it's typically based on your academic performance and or service responsibilities. Each chapter is a little bit different. For graduate students, it's basically based on coursework and service. And even faculty and professionals can get inducted. Okay. There's a special category for honorary members that is kind of a rare one, which is basically done by the National Council. So really, for most folks, it's the first couple categories until they get inducted in the society. And so what are the benefits? Well, you basically join kind of a lifelong organization. There's networking opportunities, there's a LinkedIn group. There's sort of just the honor of having it. If you go into federal service, you can get actually a kind of a starting bump up on your minimum level on your incoming grade. So if you are involved with Sigma Pi Sigma or you need more help, we have lots of resources available on the website. I'm not going to go over them all right now, but there's lots of places to get help for Sigma Pi Sigma. And I can certainly talk to you more about that. We'll talk about chapter reports.
Yeah, so we want you to submit chapter reports. Chapter reports tell us what exactly a chapter has done over the course of a year. Myself and Dr. Kuman, we read the most recent round of chapter reports. It was really fun seeing what everyone was doing over the past year, from outreach activities to Sigma Pi Sigma inductions and so on. This also, it gives you a chance to update your chapter's contact information, because we want to have the most up-to-date information on who your advisor is, who your chapter officers are, so we can get them the pertinent information that they need through our newsletters and whatnot. And as I said, it just gives us a chance to understand what is your chapter doing, but also how can we help you? There's an opportunity in the chapter report to ask questions, basically, like, how do I get outreach resources? How do I get more interaction in my chapter? What are some success stories that other chapters have? What did they do? And when we see that, we can provide that information, we can provide those resources. And all that is done through the chapter reports. I don't know if the submission is open yet, but you can start to write it. There's a rubric that you can follow to get a really nice chapter report, to potentially get a chapter report award. You can see that on the SPS website, and we also sent in our most recent newsletter. So yes, please fill out your chapter report. You can start writing them now. They will be due June 15th. If you submit them before June 15th, your chapter will be put into a drawing for a $100 pizza gift card. So some of the national programs that we have through SPS National, we'll go through each of these briefly. We have many scholarships and grants. We have our SPS internships, which are very similar to RU programs. Publications such as the SPS Observer and JERPA that we passed around. There's a lot of career resources, such as the Careers Toolbox, Grad School Shopper, which I was using a few months ago. We also have outreach resources like the SOC, which is a big box that you can get each year.
Stands for Science Outreach Catalyst Kit.
Yes.
We used to actually ship them in giant socks.
Really? I didn't know that.
They did, yeah.
That is really funny. We also have an online physics demo library, and we have Physics Jeopardy, which we'll be playing tonight during the game nights. We also have our alumni engagement program and PhysCon. So going into this, some of the SPS awards that we have are travel and research awards. You can apply for these if you're heading to a conference, like here for APS, we had a travel award. You could get multiple awards per chapter, but it's typically awarded to It's typically limited to one per chapter, but you can get more. We also have research awards. So if you travel to a conference and you write about that conference and what happened, maybe some talks that occurred, you can get a research award for that. Excuse me, that is. Well, that's for conducting research, excuse me. But we do have a separate one where you can report on a conference and talks that occurred at that conference and also get a reward out of that. The reporter awards. I just have to read a little further. So that's how the reporter award works, and the research award is for conducting research. In terms of the internship programs, so you can start to apply from November 1st. They will occur from May to August of this year. And there's 13 different host sites all around Washington, D.C., right? Yeah, Washington, D.C. That is from AIP Physics Today to the Space Telescope Science Institute. There's many lobbying positions around Capitol Hill. It's a great opportunity. I personally have not participated, but I've heard a lot of great input from people who have been in these internship programs.
Yeah, just as an example, like I did one of the interns, she actually worked at Physics Today, and she ended up over the summer writing an article, and it got published in Physics Today during the summer, after the summer. So, if you want real practice, people do public policy stuff, they do research stuff. So depending what direction you want to go in, it's kind of a way to get your toe in the water, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. The SPS Observer is a great way to connect us physics and astronomy undergrad students to the broader physics community. We highlight chapter and member activities. We post news and different events and rewards. And this helps with the professional development for undergraduates. And it's also an opportunity to connect with alumni. That's a huge thing for SPS and Sigma Pi Sigma, is connecting with our alumni and seeing where did they end up after college. So we've already touched on that. You have already received some of the SPS Observer magazines. I highly encourage you read through that. I also encourage you read through JERPA. So these are peer-reviewed publications. As Dr. Kumon said, they do get a DOI number. So this is a chance to educate and train students for public dissemination of research. There is an editorial board, and the printed version contains different articles, but all of them are also included online. So make sure if you want to submit research, priority already passed March 15th, but it's still a rolling basis for research submissions.
Then you consider this any time of year, they just take at a certain point of year, then they do the review and then they publish out.
Yes. In terms of our outreach resources, I absolutely love these. The most recent sock that we sent out was for the eclipse.
Yes.
That had a lot of cool eclipse activities to tell you how an eclipse works, what it looks like. So these are absolutely great if your chapter goes out and does outreach activities with, elementary schools, secondary schools, general public. They're great for the outreach and, communication of science. We also have a full online library with over 35 demonstrations, even if you have limited funding. So these are pretty cheap experiments that you can do for your outreach alongside your SOC. And just as another fun little thing is the Physics Jeopardy. We make a new one every year. I believe an intern in the SPS internships is the one who creates the Physics Jeopardy and the SOC every year. So that's another cool opportunity. But we'll be playing Physics Jeopardy later on this evening, so you get a chance to see what that's all about. You want to jump in on this?
Yeah, sure. So there is a careers and jobs site. So you get to some point, you're like, okay, I have to do something after school. If you go to the site, you can look up, people have postings about jobs that are current, and you can see what might be of interest to you. And some of them are summer internships, some of them might be longer term. And so it's a great opportunity to actually find physics related jobs. So check that out. Just search on SPS jobs. There's also for longer term things, there's the SPS careers toolbox. You might say, well, how do I apply for these jobs? How do I prepare myself to prepare a resume or a CV? So they have this was an NSF funded project to make a career skills workbook. Okay. And I don't think I have one handy here, but I think I have it back in my office. So lots of things about how to make a resume, how to do interviews, write cover letters, all those kind of things. And you can, in fact, if you take the QR code here, you can download that and you can get an electronic copy. There's also things available through that website. You just do a search on Careers Toolbox. Great opportunity there. Also, you can say, well, I think I want to go to graduate school. Okay, we've got a site for you, gradschoolshopper.com. Anybody been to Grad School Shopper? Okay, a couple people, right? So it's a great opportunity to, not every single graduate program is listed in there, but they've got a pretty good selection. And they'll usually tell you a little bit about the programs, like what areas of specialty they offer, how many faculty are there, how many graduate students there, do they fund graduate students? All those kinds of really key pieces of information are typically listed in these on the website. So it's a great starting point if you want to try to do some research on programs. So you can compare schools, log in, save your, do this over a few weeks or months, log in and save your results there. Also, maybe you want to actually talk to somebody who's actually done the job that you think you might want to do. There might be somebody. So this is the alumni engagement program. These are people who have been sort of pre-screened, if you like. They're people who are interested and willing to talk to students. So you're not going to necessarily just cold call someone who doesn't want to talk to you. So these are people who are willing to talk to students. They're willing to give talks in some cases as well. So maybe you need a presentation. You want to bring a guest speaker for your club meetings. This is an opportunity. So you can just go to this website and you can look up some folks and see what might be of interest to you and try to reach out to them and make arrangements. So great opportunity for that as well. FizCon. Let's talk about FizCon. You want me to talk about FizCon? Yeah, I'll talk about FizCon. Okay. So FizCon is so every 3 years, the Sigma Pi Sigma, the Physics Honor Society, and Society of Physics students get together and they gather in one location and they have what's called the Physics Congress. And so it's not just a conference. So in traditional conference, people go and present research like this one. So there is some of that. There's people presenting posters, but it's also a lot more than that. So usually there is an actual where everybody gets in a big ballroom and they actually talk about issues that are relevant to students. That's the Congress part. There's usually tours of local facilities and laboratories. There's workshops throughout the weekend, and usually there's a big dance party at the end. So it's a lot of fun. Let me see, what else can I say? So the last one was in Washington, D.C. We had a really great time there. Did anybody go to FizCon? Anybody? Okay. Now, if you're going to get a chance, the next one is actually going to be in Denver, Colorado in 2025. So put that on your calendar for Halloween weekend. It's going to be in downtown Denver. I believe it's the Sheraton. They're going to have a member day for Sigma members, but also, and you don't have to be Sigma member to attend. Anybody can attend. We're going to have chocolate game night, club showcase, which is always really great to see what other clubs are doing. 21 workshops. These are some of the people who will be there. Dame Jocelyn Bell-Burnell, did anybody know who she is? Okay, she was one of the co-discoverers of Pulsar. Okay. She's there, she'll be there. Julian Parlow-Larkin, she's a medical physicist. Donald Walton, he's an industrial physicist. Works at Corning. Eric Cornell got the Nobel Prize. What do you get the Nobel Prize for? Anybody know? Trivia question early.
He's the Ohio State professor, isn't he?
Not Ohio State, no. He's at Gilla in NIST and Joint Institute in Laboratory Astrophysics. Yeah. Okay. He shared the Nobel Prize for the Bose-Einstein condensate discovery. Okay. And there's also a special workshop by a NASA engineer in Newport. At the Washington D.C. event, they had a kind of a big party because it was a 100th anniversary party, and I think he spent like 2 hours just signing autographs. Just a super nice guy, right? It was like a rock star. Yeah, it should be a really great time there.
I will say,
Dave Burnell. She's absolutely awesome. She loves talking to students about their research and getting a chance to hear what these students are doing. She always takes, during PhysCon, she always takes students out for breakfast and lunch. So if you go to PhysCon, I would highly suggest looking for Dave Burnell to get a chance to talk to her. I know that she'll want to talk to you.
Yeah, so these are people who are particularly chosen because they like to talk to students. And so it's not that they're just up on a stage someplace. You can actually talk to them. That's great. All right. SPS is in all the major social media channels. There is actually a Discord server also for the SPS National Group if you're interested. I believe that's the invitation back. And that kind of grew out of PhysCon and it's kind of continued on. So check those out. I think for sake of time, I'm going to skip over the stuff that. So we have a fairly active set of chapters here at Kettering. We have actually our university is a little bit different that we have students go to alternate between school and work every other quarter. So I actually supervise or advise a group of students who are here in the fall and the winter, and then a separate group of students who are here in the spring and the fall. And so I'm going to skip over that because they're not really here to talk about it. But I did want to talk about the next zone meeting, which we are hoping to have at Marietta. You guys interested in hosting a zone meeting at Marietta? Yeah. Okay. So we had an initial conversation about that. So that is scheduled already. It's going to be in conjunction if we do it there. It'll be in conjunction with the Eastern Great Lakes section meeting, which is October 18th and 19th in the fall. And it'll be also joint with the Appalachian section of the American Association of Business Teachers. So okay. I've not been there. Is it beautiful? It looks beautiful. Right now. Looks good. Not right now. Oh, okay. Not right now. So don't go right now.
Twice in a week.
Twice in a week.
The river's really high.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully it'll be better not to. Okay. All right. So I did want to leave a little bit of time here. We're going to talk about 4:30. First of all, if you want more snacks, get more snacks. Also, I did want to pass this around. If you think you're going to be available tomorrow to attend the Planetarium and Science Museum visit, we'd like to have you just sign up so we know who's coming and pass it around. But we do like to have some open discussion here, get your feedback and see if you have any questions or comments. So one of the things we've often had to kind of struggle to get is for chapters to sign up for to turn in that chapter reports. So we'd like to have all the active chapters turn in at least, even a short report would be great. So if there's something that if maybe you haven't turned in the past and you're like, well, I don't know what to do, we can talk about that. Also, we have many chapters, so we only usually get about between 20 and 25 chapter reports turned in every year. And we have supposedly almost 100 chapters in our zone. So that's not a very good return rate. So we'd like to see what can we do to help out those chapters and get them more active. But also, what is your chapter plan for next year? What problems might you be facing? Do you have any resources that you might need? Or if there's anything else you want to discuss, we just kind of want to open the floor here. So any thoughts? What are you planning for next year? Maybe we'll start with that. You think any plans for next year yet?
I apply for grad school.
Grad school.
Grad school is a big thing.
Any plans for your chapter for next year? Talk about anything? Is there anything you normally do every year? Yeah.
We just went to the we went to Worcester University to go see the folks.
Nice.
Our faculty advisor wants us to do a SOC outreach in Appalachia.
Nice. Very good. That's great. Yeah. So there's money for that, right? So there's SPS programs you can apply to get funding. For example, the Cleveland State University chapter, they applied for funding to get outreach to do about the eclipse to local schools. They went to like 4 or 5 different local schools, and so you can get I think $300 or more.
Yeah.
So yeah, take advantage of that. Anybody else? Anything you normally do or things you plan to do or want to do? How about problems? What problems have your chapters had? Any problems, things you've noticed? How often do you meet typically? There's your chapters.
Once a month.
Once a month?
That's pretty typical. We also do one once a month or so.
Anybody else do more than that?
I think ours like every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks? Okay. Yeah, we usually try to meet weekly here most of the time. But we have short term. Okay, that's great. And do you have good turnout at your meetings? Yeah. What do you do to get to good turnout? I'm curious.
Either it's we Jeopardy or some kind of a game.
Okay.
Like ellipse. Yeah. You know, for ellipse tour, there were like 20 people that we had to drive. So we took 3 vans.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 3 vans. That's wow. Okay, great. Anybody in line? Do you want to talk about anything you're doing? Case there?
In terms of encouraging turnout, we found that offering dinners and like fun activities works really well.
Well, say it one more time.
Offering food.
Food. Yes, food's always a good thing.
Good incentive. Yes.
Do you all have funding sources? Where do you get funding for your chapters?
Student government.
Student government?
Campus.
Okay. Do you ever have trouble getting funding? Anybody have trouble getting funding?
Any funding is less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is helpful to have the funding. I know we use it for to buy pizza and do projects. I know they built. I didn't have a chance to show up, but they ended up building a trebuchet last year, so that was fun. And we did pumpkin launching, so that was great too.
We do like a rocket launch every, like a rocket launch picnic every like fall.
Nice.
And you know, like the starting of the fall when everybody is like incoming persons.
There's a chapter in Washington State, I believe. They do like this. They have people pay to decorate pumpkins, and then they take them up to like the 5th or 6th story of their building, and then they drop them. And they live stream the whole thing, so you see smashing pumpkins all afternoon. You can actually watch that online. Other things that you're interested in, you might want to try, what you might want to try to do, but you haven't done yet. Anything you need from, you'd like to think that you might want from us? What can we do to help you?
Are there resources or perhaps things you want us to talk about with the National Council that you'd like to see a change in, perhaps?
A big thing for me personally is outreach and like connecting with alumni or people that have done, like you mentioned, what we want to go into at some point.
Sure.
So seeing I'm definitely going to take a look at the grad school shopper and then trying to see, you mentioned the list of people that actively like to hear from undergrads and talk to undergrads. So
alumni engagement,
building that up would be good because I love getting to know what people actually do.
Yeah, it's a lot. Just to do like information on everything. Yeah.
If you go on the SPS National website, it's just spsnational.org. Just go on there, look up. Even if you just type in alumni engagement, you can find that list very easily and get in contact with them.
How many people have written a lab? Oh, sorry, written a chapter. Have you written a chapter report? Do you know? Does your chapter write that chapter reports? You might know. Okay. So oftentimes it's the officers who do it, or even sometimes the advisors will be involved with that. So maybe I should talk about that a little bit more. So it's pretty simple. The way it works is that there's a form, an online form, which you fill out, and it basically just has a list of the people who are going to be your officers for next year, who's going to be your advisor and your department head for the next year. And then after that, then there's a document that you can download. It's got a template. It's kind of the basic stuff, like what did you do in your chapter and your chapter community? Did you do anything outside your campus? Did you go to somebody go to a conference? Or did you do some outreach? Usually there's a section to talk about what you do with Sigma Sigma. If you have an honor society component there, who was inducted, people got any awards. Maybe some students went to conferences or even got some publications. That's kind of go ahead. So where you have sort of an engagement with the professional physics community, right? Maybe somebody went to the March meeting or the April meeting, the APS, or other professional studies. So it's pretty painless once you get into it. But you do have to think about a little bit about what we've been doing as a chapter. And it doesn't have to be extensive either, right? We've had ones that are long, we have ones that are quite short, and that's okay too, right? We just want to know what you're doing. So if you please, if you could, if you're not responsible for that, please talk to the people in your chapter, because we do want to hear from you, because otherwise we're just, it's like the Maytag repairman, just a bone sitting around. We don't know what's going on. And I don't know what's going on in the zone. So, you have any other comments you want to make?
I mean, in general, if you have any questions, any ideas that you want to pass around, or if you have anything for myself or Dr. Kuman, we're going to be here both days for this conference. So if you see us, please come up to us. We can talk about any issues you might have that you thought about at that time, or if you see something you'd like to, have pushed out there more, or if you even have your own stuff at your university that you want to put in our newsletters and stuff like that. Anything you might have, we'll be here this weekend. So just come up and talk to us.
Is anybody interested in going to Green Bay National Radio Observatory?
Of radio astronomy.
Yeah. If you does anybody know what Green Bay is? No. It's a giant radio telescope, which is in West Virginia. It's in a radio quiet zone. You can't use your cell phone there, even in the community, because they have sensitive instrumentation. And you were there.
Yes.
Right? I have not been there. I missed that when we had the FISCON. But yeah, we're thinking about getting a group of folks to go. So if you're interested, or somebody who might be interested, let us know.
You might think of the chance to work with the radio telescope. It's a lot of fun.
So, or if there's other places you want to go to, I think maybe next year we can try to coordinate with folks over the next zone and go to Finland. Absolutely. Great. All right, we're getting near the end here. We got a couple minutes before the poster session starts. So please take anything you want, okay? And we've got examples of posters. If you want to take some posters back to your chapters about various different kinds of awards, about grad school stuff, about the summer internship programs, just take them home, take them up, put them on the wall. If you have a lounge, you got more posters even over here. So feel free to take these with you. I don't know if you can hear.
Can I ask that real quick?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So one thing that I wanted to bring everyone's attention is I'm actually here both as giving a talk tomorrow, but additionally to my work at Lab, I also help to run the co-op program within the Accelerator Directory. We currently have 2 positions open. We're trying to target more sophomore people within their college careers to work in various areas around the lab. One of the areas that we've had students working in the past is dark matter research. Working on the quantum detectors for that. That any of that stuff sounds like an interest to you, I do have a separate talk from the one I'm giving tomorrow that I would be happy to give to any of you to discuss how that whole program works, how we can structure that around your college attendance, just to see if any of you have any interest in seeing if Lab is somewhere that you might want to end up in the future. So if any of you have interest in that, please feel free to come talk to me. I'd be happy to talk to any of you.
Good.
I'll make push one more time if you'd like for the planetarium and museum tomorrow. Please sign up so we know who's going to be coming with us.
All right, thanks for coming out today, and hope to see you tonight. There was somebody who didn't have a banquet ticket. Who was that? You didn't? You want one? Sure. All right, come on out to the banquet. Should be fun. Banquet. So just so you know, Factory 1 was the original. It was the location of the very first General Motors plant here in Flint. It started in Flint. And they've renovated it since then. It's now owned by General Motors. But we'll be down there. It's a very nice facility. So hope to see you over there. If not, come out to the game night. That'll be at 9 o'clock over in the academic building next across the street. Thank you. Hi. Thanks for coming.